5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is up? Welcome back to the Mastering Management Podcast. My name is Josh Lewis. I'm super excited about what we are about to learn today. Today, we're going to be talking about a manager's most important values. What are the most important values for a manager to have? But first, this podcast is brought to you by the Mastering Management online course. Yes, the Mastering Management Podcast also has the Mastering Management online course. Go to joinmasteringmanagement.com to log in to lead your life. All right, guys, let's get right into this one. I am super excited about this one. You know, that's a constant trait for me. I'm super excited about a lot of things in life, but this is my passion, man. This is what I love doing. So I'm super excited about this. We're going to be talking about something that is super important, that is a manager's most important values. And one of the reasons why I want to talk about this is because we have all worked for bad leaders. We've all worked for bad managers who've never had any values, it seems, right? They've had bad values. The values to the point where, like, this is embarrassing. Like, I can't even believe this person is a leader. We've all worked for people that have been like that, haven't we? I'm sure you're thinking about somebody right now. And one of the most important things for you as a new leader, and by the way, I don't care how long you've been a manager, you're always a new leader. And what I mean by that is you're always learning more to lead your people. You should be always learning more to lead your people. So progressively, if you're looking to get better and grow, you're going to be unlocking a new stage in life, and it's going to make you a new leader in a new scenario. So listen, there's seasoned leaders out there, and I learn from them all the time. And then there's new managers and there's new leaders out there, and I learn from them too as well. The whole key, the whole goal is to be someone who is constantly always learning, which I commend you, by the way, if you're listening to this podcast, because you are somebody who's striving to always learn. And by the way, guys, I didn't just learn this stuff overnight. There was a lot of sweat, tears, pain, frustrations, anxiety attacks, nervous breakdowns that I went through in order to teach you guys this stuff. The whole reason why I do everything that I do right now is so you don't have to go through what I went through, because I became self-aware during a very, very bad point in my management career. And I was like, if I ever figure this thing out, man, I'm teaching other people how to do this, because this is insane. This is insane that I'm not getting any training and I'm figuring everything out by myself. So these are the most important values that a manager needs to have, especially a new manager needs to have, because if you're a new manager and you're brand new to whatever department you're in, you're going to be looked at different than somebody who's a seasoned leader. Listen, we all start at the lowest level of influence when you come to influencing somebody else. It's something that John Maxwell teaches, which is super true in life, which is you're always starting at a low level of influence whenever you walk into a room. You've never met anybody in that room, so the influence you have on somebody is going to be extremely small. I don't care how many years you have in leadership, but here's the thing. The more you help people, the more you value people, the bigger reputation you're going to have. So if you do walk into a room, even though you're still on the lowest level of influence, if you have a track record of helping people, people are going to be aware. This person helps people. This person is somebody who's strong. I'm sure you've been in a room where you've seen a CEO walk into a room, or somebody who's been very important. And listen, you might not know them. You might disagree with them, but they walk in the room and you've heard of something that they've done before, and you're curious about them, aren't you? So the most important thing to understand and realize that even though we are at the lowest level of influence when we meet somebody new, which it means we have no influence over that person, we have no level of leadership over that person. If we progressively work on ourselves and we consistently have good values, we can shortcut our leadership journey. I remember starting off influence on anybody, and then as you build over time experience, all of a sudden other companies start to look at you and they want to recruit you because you have done different things. So they look at you differently. So half of that, more than half, I think, has to do with your values, because you have such a reputation of results and building other people. So let's get right into it. I'm trying to like explain to you the importance of having good values, because I want you guys to sink in on this stuff and really, really understand the importance of this. So first off, the first value a manager must have is integrity. You got to lead by example. You got to do the right thing. Too many times we have leaders who say, do this, and they don't do that themselves. They are people who are hypocrites, people who say, well, you should do this, but I'm not going to do it. By the way, great example of this is politicians. And we all know it inherently. And listen, I'm not making this a politics podcast. I'm saying you've seen politicians before have said one thing, but they don't do the same thing themselves, right? Don't be that person, man. Be a person of integrity. What does a person of integrity mean to you? It's a good exercise, by the way. If you're listening to this in your car, if you're listening to this while working out, if you're listening to this on the way to work, think to yourself, man, what does integrity mean to me? What does it mean to be a person of integrity? I would say that it's number one, you're leading by example. Number two, you choose to do the right thing. Number three, you choose to treat human beings right. Number four, you uphold to morals. Number five, you're constantly somebody that you believe can be relied on. You've got integrity. You're strong with your integrity. It's one of the most important values to have. And it's one of the reasons why I put it at number one, because if you don't have integrity, you have nothing. You can have, a strong purpose in life. You can have all these things, but if your moral compass is misdirected, then you don't really have anything. Your journey of leadership will surely fail. Super important to have integrity. So number one is integrity. Are you leading by example? And let's dive into this for a brief moment. Are you leading by example in the sense that if you ask somebody to do something, are you willing to do that yourself? So for instance, when I worked in the restaurant industry and I asked somebody to do a task, I would literally help them while I asked them, guys, can you help me clean these tables? We need help cleaning these tables. And boom, I'm cleaning tables right along with them. And I'm recruiting help because we need help. I can't do it by myself. I'm not like, I'll do everything by myself. By the way, I was like that. It's one of the biggest mistakes you can make as a leader. I'll do everything by myself. Don't do that. It's the reason why you have team members. It's the reason why you have people to rely on. So integrity, lead by example. Do the things that you'll say you'll do. One of the most important things in leadership is doing the things that you'll say you'll do. If you say that you're going to call this person back, call that person back. If you say that your reports are going to be done by Friday, get them done by Friday. And then if you ask somebody to do something, but you don't do it yourself, man, what are you doing? I remember I worked with this leader who was very abrasive, always interrupted people. And then this leader was talking about another leader and saying, man, this person's so rude. And I was thinking to myself, well, listen to this leader. I was like, yeah, it's because you're rude. What people do, what people see. Leaders do, people do what they see the leader do subconsciously. Talked about this before. So lead by example, do the right thing, treat people right. Number two, one of the most important values for a manager to have is being a servant leader. What does that mean? Let me tell you a story. I was a server one time, literally a server, right? A servant, server. And I was waiting on a table one time. And listen, I'm not going to shy away from this. I'm a Jesus guy, right? If you talk about religion, I am a Jesus guy in the sense that I believe the word of God to be true. I'm very passionate about those things, but I don't push my religion on other people because I don't believe it's religion. I believe it's the truth that I know to be true. So I digress. But with that said, I was waiting on people that I don't like to associate myself because they have a similar religion as myself. Judgmental religious people. You and I both know that there are those types of people out there. And I could say it. I'm a Jesus guy. Dude, these people were judgmental. And nose in the air, they're better than other people. Reading their Bibles literally at the table, and I was serving them. But I understood who they are. Listen, I've gone to many churches. I know that type of demographic, but I was very nice to them, like I always am. There's no reason I'm talking about them being judgmental and I'm judging them, right? Who's the hypocrite here? A little bit of self-awareness for you on a Tuesday afternoon. So yeah, I was talking to them and they said, what do you like to do? What is it that you like to do? And I said, man, I really, really like helping people. I like doing what I'm doing right now, waiting on tables, doing all these different things. And this is years ago. And they looked at me and said, oh, you're a servant. You're one of God's servants. And I got pissed off because I didn't look at myself as a servant. I was like, how dare they? I'm not a servant waiting on you, waiting on other people, just being a servant. And I was young and ignorant and arrogant to realize what they were actually saying was true and a good thing to vibe, the good thing to go after. And I didn't realize that. And I remember thinking, man, I don't want to be a servant. And then as I got into leading people and I was learning about being in positions of leadership, I realized living to help others is a great life. It really is. Helping other people and being somebody who is living to help other people is one of the most rewarding things you can ever do in life, regardless of the other things of like getting married and having kids, all the cliched things. If you're living a life where you're constantly helping other people, this is why volunteerism is so big. This is why people give to charity. This is why when you go through a line at a grocery store and they say, would you like to donate to such and such? We understand this as human nature. Human beings like to contribute to other human beings. We like to help. We just do. It's weird. Like, why would we as human beings? Why? Because we could internally be selfish creatures, right? And just like, man, it's only in it for me. But there's something about healthy human beings that like to help other people. And one of the most important values for a manager to have is to be a servant leader. You're living to help your people. This doesn't mean you're less than your people, because I'm talking to the arrogant people who are not arrogant, but we're still fighting that. Trust me, I was one of them. I still have an ego. I fight it too. But we're living to help others. And here's the weird thing. If you're fighting your ego and being like, man, I need to be better than people, here's a great way if you want to be better than people. It's not accolades. It's not rewards. It's not plaques. It's not all those different things, even though all those things are great to have. If you want to be better than people, if you want to be better than people, look to serve other people. Because if you consistently do that, your moral integrity, who you are, you have to get better as a human being. You have to learn more. You have to read more. You have to listen more. You have to open yourself up to more knowledge in order to be better so you can help other people. Servant leadership is about living to help other people. It's about looking at your people and saying, I want to help them. Not, look at these mother effers, right? And listen, I've been there too as well, where you look at your team like, oh no. But what if you looked at that team and went, man, I want to help all these people. By the way, sometimes helping somebody is getting them off the team, getting them off the bus. They might need that in their life. And it's like, not saying that you're the person who judges that. But if this person is consistently doing something that is not adding value to your company and not adding value to the team, you need to look at it and go, this person might need to kind of get a wake-up call. And you can gently give them that wake-up call by providing them with another opportunity that's different from yours, by saying, our values don't align. Servant leadership is one of the most important things because you're living to help others consistently, and you're looking at people through that lens. I want to help other people. Number 3, manager's most important values. You got to have a strong why. You got to have a strong purpose. Why are you doing this? Why are you helping other people? You guys have heard my why, right? I went through hell. I thought to myself, this is horrible. I never want anybody else, because I like human beings, to go through what I went through. If I can prevent one person through one podcast, through one social media post, to go through hell because something clicked and they listened to it, man, that to me, that's the world. Because I want to help other people. And why do I want to help other people? Because I was alone and scared when my mom died, and I felt like no one helped me. And I was very alone, and I was looking for somebody to help me. And no one was helping me. Not my family, not my extended family. They had their own issues. They had their own stuff they had to figure out. So I made a decision. I was like, I want to be somebody who is consistently always helping people, because I don't want them to go through what I went through. And listen, I'm 35 years old. My mom died when I was 12. That's a long time ago. But I still have that burning desire in me right now. It's the reason why I do these podcasts. I do social media posts. I do courses. I do all these different things because I'm like, dude, I got to help people. I got to help people. I got to help people. A strong why. What's your why? Why do you do this? Think about that for a moment and go deep on it. Dean Graziosi has a great exercise, which he learned from someone else. I want to give the right person credit, but it doesn't matter. From where I learned it from, Dean Graziosi, it's called the 7 levels deep exercise, 7 levels deep. So you ask yourself, hey, so why are you a manager? Well, because it's my job and I want to help people and I want to lead other people. Well, why do you want to do that? Well, because I want to provide for my family. Okay. Why do you want to provide for your family? Well, because I love them. Why do you love them? And you go deep, 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 7 levels deep on why. Dean Graziosi does it really well. Search on YouTube, search on his podcast. He does it really, really well. I remember I did it and I was like, oh my God. And I figured out why, right? And one of the reasons why is because I want to help other people is because I felt like no one helped me when I was a kid. And I remember when I figured it out, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Wow. So what's your why? You got to have a strong why as a leader, as a manager. And listen, you don't have to wear it on a t-shirt every single day. Walk in, my wife, panda bears. The panda bears are going extinct, man. I'm not belittling it. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to have some fun, people. What's your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you listening to this podcast right now? Why is a great question, man. It really is. To find some self-awareness and to find some realization to yourself? Why is a great question. So let's recap real quick. Integrity, servant leadership, strong why. Most important values for a manager. You got to be relationship focused. You got to learn to build relationships. There are relationships that I've had with people and companies that I haven't worked in years. But if I run into that person, if I were to call that person on the phone, we would have a kindled relationship. Not because I'm great, but because I was relationship focused, because I wanted to build a relationship. And that person knew that I cared about them. I was like, oh, okay. And I listened to them. And I was genuinely curious about their life. So be relationship focused, focus on building relationships. And you say, man, Josh, this is hard. I'm a manager. I don't want to get too close to these people. You don't have to. You don't have to get too close to these people. In fact, I actually advise you not to get too close to these people. Don't go out with them after work. Don't do all these different things. I mean, there's certain scenarios, team building exercises, yes, but don't get into habit of like hanging out with people who are your team members and you're their superiors, right? But become relationship focused of, you want to know why they're doing this. Hey, what's the family like? What's the family situation like? You know, are they having kids? Did they just have a kid? Are they figuring out where to bring that kid to preschool? Do they want to buy a new car? That's awesome. I remember, dude, some of the most coolest things in the world were like helping people get promotions and then watching them buy a new car, right? Because you help them get through everything. And then they have a material object because of it that they get into every single day because they became a better leader, because they became a better individual. That's a cool thing. This happened a lot of times, by the way. And it didn't really like click with me until I was like, oh, wow, this is like the fourth person that's bought a car that I've helped get promoted. And now they're buying something because they're making extra money. And now their quality of life just got better. Right? So huge thing, relationships. Why do people do the things that they do? Why are they doing it? And ask questions, develop relationships. Be relationship focused. Don't be transactional focused. Be relationship focused. Number 5, evaluation. I don't know if this is like really a value, but it's something that's super important. Evaluate everything. Evaluate your people, evaluate your team, evaluate the numbers, but most importantly, evaluate yourself. Look at yourself and say, what can I do better? I have in my course the 5 questions that a manager must ask themselves every single day. Evaluate. Ask yourself, what can I do to get better? What did I do that worked out well? Evaluation is key, man. By the way, most egocentric leaders don't evaluate. They just keep going and think that they're doing the right thing. The leader who stops for a moment and goes, all right, let me think about this. Let me evaluate. By the way, for people who are not analytical, this is hard. This is really hard. For people who are analytical, they're like, dude, I do this all the time. For people like go, 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 go. It's hard for those people. Maybe I'm talking to you right now. It's hard for you to stop and go, all right, what worked, what didn't work, right? For people who are analytical, man, maybe you do this a little bit too much. Maybe you evaluate too much. Well, let me not say it this way, because if I say it this way, they might get offended. Or maybe I should wear blue that day because their favorite color is blue. And if I talk to them and I'm wearing blue and the sky's blue and we do it outside, then maybe those are super analytical people. Be careful when you're evaluating if you're a super analytical person. Just evaluate like what's working and what's not working. evaluation is huge. It's how you get better. Because if you don't know where you're standing, you'll never know where you go. It's crazy. If you're driving a car, but you have no idea where you are, and you're trying to get to a destination, how are you going to get to that destination? If you're driving, you're like, well, yep, I'm in Florida, and I'm trying to get to Texas. But if you didn't know you were in Florida, how are you going to know where you're going to go? It's super important. It's a silly example that I'm using right now, but it's so true, man. Last thing, this is, by the way, your leadership gurus, the people out there are not going to talk about this a lot, but it's one of the things that I've learned. This is one of the most important things. And I think people don't talk about this a lot because especially all the gurus and everything out there, it's not sexy. It's not something that is like, oh my God, it's something that is amazing. Like, oh, that's such a breakthrough point. It's not something that you can like, it's not action oriented where like you can film it and all of a sudden show people doing this and then go, wow, that looks awesome, right? It's not marketable. So people don't spend time on this, but it's super important. You're like, Josh, what is this? It's rest. You got to rest. You got to value resting, and you got to value having rest for your people. You got to value taking a step back, pausing, taking a break, getting your energy back. You got to value doing this for your people too as well. Don't push your people to the point where they break. Give them rest. That person wants that day off, give them the day off. That person wants to leave early that day because, oh my God, they've had such a stressful week. Yeah, give them rest. Give yourself rest too. I don't know why I whispered that. I was thinking about a certain political figure who tends to do that recently. And I didn't mean to be that way, but give yourself rest, man. Look at yourself and go, man, I deserve to rest. By the way, I meditate almost every single day. And one of the meditations that I'll listen to will say, take this moment, take this time to rest for yourself and appreciate the fact that you are resting for yourself. And I always think when I hear that, I go, yeah, good job, Josh, because you don't do this often, right? I'm thinking about, oh, I can make this as a podcast. Oh, I can help this person. Oh, I can help this business. Oh, I can do this. Always thinking those different things, right? Man, oh man. Rest is overlooked, especially in management. By the way, if you don't give yourself rest, it's hard to give your people rest. There's a resentment that builds. If you're not resting yourself, you feel like, why should my people rest? You might not think it, but it's something that happens inside. There's no rest for the weary. Let's keep going. No, man, you need to rest. You need to get your energy back. You need to find out what energizes you. So that's a good question. When's the last time I've taken a break and what energizes me? So take a break. Take a day. Do something where you're doing nothing. Pick a day where you're doing nothing, or pick a day, where you do something that energizes you, where it is like, whoa, now I feel completely energized. Maybe that's spending time with somebody you love. Maybe that's spending time with friends. Maybe that's taking a walk. Maybe that's talking to somebody you haven't talked to in a long time. Getting your energy back. Resting. It's important. It's an important value to have as a manager. You need it. You need it so you can give it to others. Let's recap. What are the manager's most important values? Number 1 is integrity. Got to lead by example. Number 2, servant leadership. Live to help other people. Number 3, what's your why? What's your strong why? Number 4, you got to be relationship focused. You got to find out the whys behind what people do. Number 5, evaluate. Evaluate everything you're doing. If you're over analytical, evaluate half of what you're doing because you're evaluating too much. Number 6, rest. Take a break. Take time. Take a day where you don't even think about work. Where you're like, man, I'm just going to recharge my batteries, recharge myself, energize myself, take a rest. These are some of, to me, the most important values a manager can have. I go deep into these in my course. I talk about the difference between leadership and management and what the difference is and what you should be valuing. But these are some of the things that, man, integrity. If you don't have integrity as a leader, you're nothing. If you don't have a strong why, you're going to burn out. If you're not relationship focused, you're going to have high turnover. If you're not evaluating, you're not going to grow. If you're not resting, man, you're going to burn out. So these are some of the most important values. By the way, shoot me a message. What are your most important values? I love to hear from you guys. This is a community. This is a family. We help each other out. By the way, sometimes on my social media, there's negative people who come on. I appreciate every single one of you guys who defend me. I love you guys so much. We've never met and you're defending me. And I love you so much for it. I don't really participate in when people are being negative because a lot of times most people they got other things going on in their life, man, and they're just taking it out on the guy they swiped on, right? And they're like, who is this guy? You know what? I don't agree with this. F this guy. And man, I have compassion for that. I get it because when I was a kid, I had a lot of anger inside me, so I get that. But this is a community where we help other people. Remember that. And if you want to bash on other people, don't do it. Be a leader. Learn to be empathetic on why somebody is doing things. Trust me, I read some comments sometimes. I'm like, I get almost heated, right? And then I'm like, stop, listen. These people, they need love. Just silently say a prayer for them and just move on. And by the way, ignore negative behavior online. This is one thing where you can actually ignore negative behavior because it's like a fire. If you stoke it by responding to it, it's going to get bigger. But like ignoring it is like covering it. The fire is going to go out. So guys, that's it. I'm wrapping up. I hope this was beneficial to you. If this was beneficial to you and you know somebody, please share this. Remember, I'm trying to help as many people as I possibly can. If somebody hears one good thing from this, maybe they'll be like, man, my whole management career is turning around. So that is specifically what this podcast, what my course, what my social media, all that is for. I love you guys all. If you guys like this, please give it a review on iTunes, on Spotify, on YouTube. And let's build great leaders together. Let's build ourselves to be great leaders together. I love you guys all. Have a great rest of your day. And you, my friends, have no idea how powerful you are.